Listen carefully. I have an urgent and important message today, and this message is not for everyone. This is only for God's chosen ones. If you are not walking the divine path, if your heart is not aligned with God, this message will not resonate with you. You may feel uncomfortable, distracted, or even tempted to leave, and that is fine. This message is not meant for you. But if you are a true follower of God, if you have felt different all your life, if you know deep inside that you were set apart for a higher purpose, then understand this clearly. This message reached you at the exact right time, not early, not late, perfectly on time. Chosen one, someone tried to move against you in the spiritual realm. They handed your photo to darkness. They expected harm. They expected destruction. But instead, the devil was shocked by what he saw attached to your life. He was not prepared for who you truly are. Stay with me till the end of this message, because what I am about to reveal will calm your mind, strengthen your spirit, and confirm everything you have been sensing lately.
Who you really are in the spiritual realm. Let me speak to you calmly now, and I want you to listen without fear. What you need to understand first is this. You are known in the spiritual realm long before you are understood in the physical world. People may see your face, hear your voice, judge your actions, but the spiritual realm sees your assignment. It sees your authority. It sees the hand of God resting on your life. That is why you have always felt different. Even as a child, you sensed it. You may not have had words for it, but you knew you did not belong fully to this world. You felt deeper than others. You questioned things others accepted easily. You carried burdens that were never meant for your age. That was not weakness. That was early awareness. Chosen one, darkness does not guess. Darkness recognizes. And when it looks at you, it does not see what people see. It sees what God deposited in you before you were born. It sees discipline forming in your suffering. It sees wisdom growing in your silence. It sees strength being built in moments when you thought you were breaking. Many of you have wondered, why have I been misunderstood so much? Let me answer you clearly. When you carry divine authority, people who are not aligned cannot fully comprehend you. Your peace irritates them. Your restraint confuses them. Your endurance exposes their lack of depth, so they label you. They judge you. They distance themselves from you. But hear me carefully now. Isolation was never rejection. It was protection. God had to separate you before he could elevate you. If you had stayed surrounded by everyone, your spirit would have been diluted. Your focus would have been compromised. Your calling would have been delayed. In the spiritual realm, rank is not about noise or appearance. It is about obedience. And that is why you have survived things that should have destroyed you. That is why attacks did not finish you. That is why betrayal did not harden your heart. That is why pain did not turn you bitter. Something kept holding you together when you should have fallen apart. That something is not luck. It is divine covering. You see, chosen ones often doubt themselves because they are humble. They question themselves because they fear God. They examine their hearts because they do not want to walk in pride. But darkness mistakes that humility for weakness, and that is where it miscalculates. Let me tell you something important, and I want you to let this settle in your mind slowly. You do not need to announce who you are. The spiritual realm already knows. That is why you have been tested quietly. That is why challenges came when nobody was watching. That is why your growth happened in silence. Many of you have gone through seasons where nothing made sense. You prayed, yet doors closed. You did the right thing, yet you were overlooked. You remained faithful, yet you felt unseen. That was not punishment. That was training. God was strengthening your discernment. He was refining your patience. He was teaching you how to stand without applause. And now, when your name or image is brought before darkness, it does not see someone fragile. It sees someone sealed. It sees someone guarded. It sees someone whose life is intertwined with divine authority. That is why you feel tired sometimes without knowing why. Spiritual weight is real. Carrying a calling is heavy. It presses on the mind, it tests the emotions, it stretches the soul, but it also sharpens you. It grounds you. It matures you faster than others. You are not behind in life. You are ahead in the spirit. Let me correct another misunderstanding that has troubled many of you. Being chosen does not mean life will be easy. It means life will be meaningful. It means your steps are watched. It means your decisions carry consequences. It means your obedience matters more than you realize. This is why you cannot move like everyone else. You cannot indulge recklessly. You cannot entertain certain environments. You cannot tolerate prolonged disobedience. Your spirit reacts faster. Your conscience is sharper. Your peace leaves quicker when something is wrong. That is not restriction. That is alignment. Chosen one, when darkness examined your life, it saw consistency. Not perfection, but consistency. It saw repentance when you fell. It saw humility when you were corrected. It saw perseverance when you were tired. And that is dangerous to darkness. People often think power looks loud, but true spiritual authority looks calm. It looks grounded. It looks unbothered. That is why even when storms came, you found a way to stand again. Even when you cried, you still moved forward. Even when you doubted, you never fully walked away from God. You may not feel powerful. You may not feel special. But hear this with clarity. Your feelings do not cancel your calling. You are being shaped, not shaken. You are being refined, not rejected. And the reason this message is reaching you now is because you are finally strong enough to understand it without fear. Take a breath. Let your mind relax. Nothing is wrong with you. You are not cursed. You are not forgotten. You are not weak. You are chosen. And now that you understand who you are in the spiritual realm, you will begin to see why everything unfolded the way it did. Why they targeted you in the first place. Now let me take you deeper, and I want you to stay calm as I explain this. Nothing I am about to say is meant to frighten you. It is meant to free your mind. Because confusion creates fear, but understanding brings peace. You were not targeted because you are weak. You were targeted because you are effective. Darkness does not waste energy on empty vessels. It does not pursue people who pose no threat. It does not study lives that carry no influence in the spiritual realm. Attacks are always intentional, and the moment you understand this, a heavy weight will lift from your spirit. Many of you have asked quietly, why me? Why does it feel like people move against me for no reason? Why do I attract jealousy, resistance, or strange opposition even when I mind my own business? Let me answer you plainly. Your presence disrupts things you are not even trying to touch. Your obedience exposes disobedience. Your discipline highlights chaos. Your light irritates what prefers darkness. Some people didn't hate you personally. They hated what they felt around you. They couldn't explain it, but something about you made them uncomfortable. Your silence made them restless. Your boundaries made them defensive. Your progress reminded them of their stagnation. So instead of changing themselves, they tried to interfere with you. Others knew exactly what they were doing. They recognized your spiritual sensitivity. They noticed how things shifted when you entered a room. They observed how truth followed you even when you spoke very little. And instead of respecting it, they envied it. Envy is dangerous because it blinds reason. It pushes people to make choices they would normally avoid. Let me be very clear here. Not everyone who moves against you is evil. Some are simply spiritually ignorant. They speak words without understanding their power. They harbor intentions without realizing where those intentions align. They complain, gossip, resent, and curse without knowing they are opening doors they cannot close. This is how many spiritual attacks begin. Not with dramatic rituals, but with repeated negative focus, persistent ill intent, obsession, fixation. And when that fixation grows, it attracts darker influences that amplify it. But here is where the story changes, and this is important for your peace of mind. When your name or image is brought into that realm, it does not arrive alone. It arrives with history. It arrives with prayers you prayed years ago. It arrives with tears you cried when no one saw. It arrives with moments you chose God, even when it cost you something. Darkness investigates before it attacks. It looks for openings. It looks for patterns of disobedience. It looks for unrepented sin. It looks for broken covenants. And when it examined you, it did not find what it was hoping for. You see, chosen ones often think their struggles disqualify them, but struggles handled with humility actually strengthen spiritual defense. Every time you repented sincerely, you closed doors. Every time you forgave when it hurt, you blocked access. Every time you walked away instead of retaliating, you strengthened your covering. That is why attacks felt delayed, weakened, or confusing. That is why what was meant to harm you lost momentum. That is why plans formed against you dissolved quietly. It was not coincidence. It was resistance from a higher authority. Let me also address something very gently, because many of you carry guilt that does not belong to you. You think, maybe I caused this. Maybe I did something wrong. No. Being targeted is not proof of failure. It is proof of visibility. Think about this. If you were truly insignificant, you would be ignored. If your future carried no impact, no one would be threatened by it. But your life holds weight. Your prayers shift things. Your obedience affects others. Even your endurance sends a message into the spiritual realm. That is why darkness tried to intimidate you emotionally, through anxiety, through fatigue, through confusion, through sudden heaviness without a clear cause. Those were not signs of defeat. Those were signs of pressure meeting resistance. And yet, you are still here, still standing, still believing, even when your faith felt tired, still choosing not to become cruel, even when you were hurt, still refusing to become reckless, even when you were misunderstood. Let me tell you something as a teacher who has watched this pattern for decades. Chosen ones are often attacked right before a shift, right before clarity, right before elevation, right before rest. Darkness senses movement before you do. It feels the transition forming before you see it manifest. That is why some of you experience sudden chaos in a season where you were finally finding peace. That is why issues resurfaced just as you were healing. That is why distractions intensified when you decided to focus. Those were not random setbacks. Those were last attempts to destabilize you, but they failed. And here is the part I want you to breathe into. You did not have to fight back. God handled it. While others were plotting, you were being protected. While words were being spoken, prayers were already covering you. While intentions were being formed, outcomes were already decided. Darkness underestimated one thing: your alignment. You are not perfect, but you are sincere. You are not flawless, but you are faithful. And sincerity carries authority that darkness cannot imitate. So when your photo was handed over, when your name was mentioned, when your life was examined, what was expected did not happen. Fear did not attach. Destruction did not land. Confusion did not stick. Instead, there was resistance. There was restraint. There was a boundary that could not be crossed. And that is why the devil was shocked. Not because you are powerful on your own, but because you are not standing alone. Let your shoulders relax now. Nothing is chasing you. Nothing is looming over you. Nothing has permission to touch what God has sealed. You were targeted because you matter. And now that you understand this, you no longer have to carry fear, only awareness. The moment your photo was handed over. Now listen to me very carefully, because this is where many people misunderstand what truly happened. When I say they handed your photo over, I am not speaking only about something physical. I am speaking about something intentional. In the spiritual realm, intention carries more weight than objects. A photo, a name, a thought, a fixation. These are access points when they are fueled by repeated focus. Someone did not stumble into this. This was deliberate. There was thought behind it, emotion behind it, maybe resentment, maybe jealousy, maybe desperation, maybe anger. And whether they understood the full spiritual consequences or not, They directed attention toward you with the desire to interfere, to slow you down, to disturb your peace, or to harm your progress. But here is the truth that should immediately calm your mind. The moment your identity was presented, it triggered a process they did not anticipate. In the spiritual realm, nothing happens blindly. There is examination, there is evaluation, there is hierarchy. Darkness does not act without assessment, because reckless action brings consequences even for them. So when your photo, your name, your energy was brought forward, it was not instantly attacked. It was inspected, and what was seen caused hesitation. You see, every person carries a spiritual signature. This signature is formed by alignment, obedience, repentance, and covenant. It is shaped over time. It cannot be faked, it cannot be borrowed, it cannot be stolen. And when darkness examined your signature, it did not find an open invitation. It found resistance. It found layers of protection that were not supposed to be there if the accusations were true. It found prayers spoken years ago that were still active. It found mercy covering moments of weakness. It found correction accepted instead of rejected. It found growth instead of stagnation. This is why the attack did not unfold the way it was planned. Let me slow this down for you because your mind needs to rest here. Darkness looks for agreement. It looks for alignment. It looks for permission. And permission is not always conscious. It often comes through sustained disobedience, bitterness, pride, or unrepented sin. That is how access is gained. But when your life was examined, access was limited. Not because you never made mistakes, you did. Not because you never struggled, you did. But because when you fell, you got back up. When you were corrected, you listened. When you were convicted, you adjusted. When you were tired, you still turned toward God instead of away. That matters more than you know. The enemy expected vulnerability. It expected fractures. It expected unresolved doors. But instead, it encountered boundaries. Boundaries formed not by perfection, but by humility. And this is where shock entered the picture. You must understand something important. Darkness is arrogant, but it is not foolish. It knows when something is beyond its reach. And when it realizes that a person is covered by authority higher than itself, it does not advance recklessly. It hesitates. It withdraws. It recalculates. That is exactly what happened here. Some of you felt this shift without understanding it. You sensed that something was coming, then suddenly it stopped. You felt pressure building, then it dissipated. You expected something bad to happen, but instead, there was silence. That was not coincidence. That was intervention. Let me address another layer of this, because many of you struggle with guilt even when you are innocent. You wonder, why would God allow my name to even be mentioned? Because sometimes exposure is necessary for confirmation. Sometimes what others mean for harm becomes evidence of protection. When your life was brought forward, it revealed something undeniable. You are not as unguarded as they assumed. Your life is not random. Your steps are not unobserved. Your seasons are not accidental. There is order around you, even when things feel chaotic inside. There is structure holding you, even when your emotions feel unstable. This is why the outcome changed. Instead of attack, there was restriction. Instead of destruction, there was delay. Instead of chaos, there was containment. And here is something I want you to sit with deeply. The enemy was not shocked by your strength. It was shocked by your covering. Strength can be challenged. Covering cannot be overridden without permission from above. That is why things stalled. This also explains why some people suddenly backed off, why conversations stopped, why plans dissolved, why intentions lost momentum, why certain threats never materialized. They did not have to explain it to you. They simply felt resistance they could not push through. You may never know who initiated this. You may never get confirmation in the physical world, and you do not need it because the result speaks louder than the attempt. Peace returned where anxiety was expected. Stability replaced confusion. Clarity followed heaviness, and slowly you began to breathe again. Chosen one, understand this clearly. Your life is not fragile. It is guarded. It is monitored. It is watched by authority far greater than anything that tried to move against you. This does not mean you become careless. It means you become confident, calm, grounded. You stop living in fear of unseen threats and start living in awareness of unseen protection. Let me also say this gently but firmly. Do not obsess over who did this. Obsession reopens doors that were closed. Curiosity invites distraction. Your role is not investigation. Your role is alignment. You stay where God placed you. You continue doing what you were doing. You keep your heart clean. You keep your conscience clear. You keep your spirit disciplined. Because here is the final truth of this moment. What was meant to expose you ended up revealing that you are sealed. The devil was shocked, not because you are loud, aggressive, or dramatic, but because you are anchored, because you are rooted, because you are not easily moved. And now, that realization has shifted the direction of everything. Take another breath. Nothing followed you home. Nothing attached itself to you. Nothing crossed the boundary. You are still standing, still protected, still chosen. And now that you understand what truly happened in that moment, you are ready to hear why the devil was never prepared for you in the first place. Let me add something here that your spirit needs to hear clearly, because this part brings deep mental relief. When the inspection happened and resistance was found, it did not only stop the attack, it exposed a truth about you that even you may not fully recognize yet. You are not just protected for survival, you are protected for purpose. There is a difference. Survival protection keeps you alive. Purpose protection keeps you positioned. And what was revealed in that moment is that your life is tied to something that has not yet fully unfolded. Darkness is allowed to test many things, but it is restrained when something carries future assignment that must not be interrupted. That is why the interference stopped quietly instead of escalating loudly. Some of you wondered why the situation didn't explode the way you feared, why it didn't become public, why it didn't turn into chaos, why it simply dissolved. That was not weakness on the enemy's side. That was a boundary enforced from above. You see, chosen ones are often protected in ways that feel invisible. God does not always remove the threat immediately. Sometimes he allows the threat to approach just enough for it to recognize authority and retreat on its own. That retreat sends a message into the spiritual realm that cannot be ignored. It says, "This one is marked. Do not touch." And that mark is not something you earn through performance. It is something you receive through alignment, through humility, through obedience when no one is watching, through choosing righteousness even when compromise would be easier. This is also why you must stop replaying old fears in your mind. Fear is no longer accurate information for you. It is outdated. The situation has already shifted. The danger you sensed is no longer active. The pressure you felt has already been lifted. Your nervous system just hasn't caught up yet. So I want you to do something simple right now. Release the need to stay on guard. You do not need to constantly scan for threats. You do not need to anticipate harm. That season is closing. Awareness stays, but anxiety goes. You are moving into a phase where peace is not a reward, it is a requirement. And if you allow your mind to settle, if you allow your spirit to rest, you will begin to notice something subtle but powerful. Your clarity will increase, your intuition will sharpen, your confidence will return quietly without arrogance. Because when something meant to shake you fails, it does not just stop, it strengthens what it could not break. You are not emerging fearful. You are emerging grounded, and that is why what happened did not damage you, it defined you. Why the devil was not prepared for you. Now listen closely, because this is the heart of the message. This is where clarity replaces fear, and strength replaces confusion. The devil was not prepared for you because he misunderstood the source of your stability. He thought your endurance came from personality. He thought your resilience came from intelligence. He thought your calm came from experience. But he was wrong. Your strength does not come from you alone. What the enemy expected to see was inconsistency, emotional weakness, hidden rebellion, pride disguised as confidence. He expected to find cracks formed by pain, but instead he encountered something far more difficult to deal with. A life submitted, not perfect. A spirit disciplined, not loud. A heart aligned, not arrogant. Darkness understands noise. It understands aggression. It understands ego. But it does not know how to handle someone who is quiet, yet firm, humble, yet immovable, gentle, yet deeply rooted. That kind of person cannot be manipulated easily because they are not driven by impulse. They are guided by conviction. Let me explain this slowly so your mind can rest in it. Many people confuse spiritual authority with spiritual activity. Activity is doing a lot. Authority is being grounded. Activity makes noise. Authority carries weight. And you, chosen one, carry weight even when you say very little. That is why your silence has always bothered people. That is why your restraint has been misunderstood. That is why your ability to walk away has confused those who expected you to react. Darkness relies on reaction. It feeds on emotional chaos. It thrives when people lose control. But you didn't. Even when you were hurt, you paused. Even when you were angry, you reflected. Even when you were tempted, you hesitated. Those pauses mattered more than you realize. Every moment of restraint strengthened your spiritual footing. Every time you chose prayer over impulse, you reinforced boundaries. Every time you chose obedience over ego, you deepened your covering. That is what the enemy did not calculate. You see, the devil studies patterns. He looks for predictability. He looks for cycles of self-destruction. He looks for people who sabotage themselves without external help. But when he looked at you, the pattern was different. You bent, but you did not break. You stumbled, but you corrected your path. You struggled, but you did not abandon God. That made you unpredictable. And unpredictability backed by alignment is dangerous to darkness. Let me say something that may surprise you. The enemy is not shocked by talent. He is not impressed by gifts. He is not intimidated by confidence. He has seen all of that before. What shocks him is obedience sustained over time. Because obedience limits access. It removes leverage. It blocks manipulation. You did not give him leverage. Even in moments when you doubted yourself, you still feared God. Even when you questioned your path, you still sought truth. Even when you were exhausted, you did not turn bitter. That combination is rare, and it creates a level of authority that cannot be overridden easily. This is also why the attacks felt indirect, subtle, psychological, emotional, through delay, distraction, misunderstanding, and fatigue. Because direct confrontation would have failed. There was no permission for it. The devil was not prepared for the way your life is structured spiritually. He underestimated the quiet discipline you developed in isolation. He overlooked the prayers you whispered when you had no strength left. He dismissed the nights you cried, but still chose faith the next morning. Those moments built something invisible but solid. And here is another truth that brings peace. Your authority does not come from knowing everything. It comes from trusting God even when you do not understand. That kind of trust closes doors permanently. This is why certain attacks could not land, why certain plans stalled, why confusion lifted instead of deepened, why fear tried to attach but failed, why heaviness came but did not stay. Darkness expected panic. It encountered peace. It expected collapse. It encountered endurance. It expected retreat. It encountered stillness. Stillness is powerful. Stillness signals confidence. Stillness communicates certainty without words, and that is what shocked the enemy most. Let me address something else gently, because many of you struggle here. You think authority means never feeling weak. That is not true. Authority means not being ruled by weakness. You felt fear, but you did not surrender to it. You felt pain, but you did not let it define you. You felt tired, but you did not quit. That distinction matters. You see, darkness feeds on agreement. Fear only has power when it is believed. Doubt only grows when it is entertained. And even when those thoughts passed through your mind, you did not build a home for them. You let them pass. That is why the enemy could not settle in your life. There was no comfort for him there, no agreement, no invitation. Another thing he did not anticipate was timing. You are entering a season where your discernment is sharper than before. Your tolerance for nonsense is lower, your clarity is stronger, your boundaries are firmer. Attacking you now would have backfired completely, so the attempt failed quietly. Let me say this as clearly as possible. You are not being spared because you are lucky. You are being preserved because you are needed. There is something ahead that requires you whole, stable, and clear-minded, and nothing was allowed to disrupt that preparation. That is why you are still standing. That is why you are still sane. That is why you are still hopeful, even after everything. The devil was not prepared for you because he did not understand the depth of your alignment. He saw the surface. God saw the foundation, and foundations do not shake easily. So rest in this truth now. You are not under threat. You are under authority. You are not vulnerable. You are covered. You are not behind. You are being positioned. And as we move forward, I want to show you how to recognize the signs that this divine protection is active in your life right now, so your mind can finally stop questioning what your spirit already knows. There is one more layer you need to understand, and this will bring deep peace to your mind. The devil was not prepared for how settled you are becoming internally. He expected instability. He expected emotional volatility. He expected you to second-guess yourself into paralysis. But what he encountered was something different. He encountered maturity, not loud maturity, not performative faith, but quiet, internal stability, the kind that does not panic when pressure rises, the kind that does not rush when answers delay, the kind that waits without collapsing. That kind of maturity is rare, and it cannot be forced. It is formed only through seasons you survived without understanding why. This is why the enemy miscalculated. He thought your sensitivity meant fragility. He thought your compassion meant weakness. He thought your patience meant passivity. But he was wrong. Sensitivity sharpened your discernment. Compassion strengthened your boundaries. Patience anchored your authority. You are no longer easily provoked, and that alone shuts down many attacks. Darkness thrives on urgency. It pushes panic. It accelerates fear. But you are learning to slow down, to breathe, to observe before reacting. And when someone cannot rush you, they cannot control you. That is why things did not escalate. That is why chaos did not multiply. That is why confusion did not linger. You did not give it momentum. Let me say this plainly, so it settles deeply. Your calm is not accidental. It is cultivated. It was built through pain you processed instead of suppressing, through questions you brought to God instead of running from Him, through moments you stayed honest with yourself when denial would have been easier. That inner honesty created alignment. Alignment created authority. And authority enforced boundaries that darkness could not cross. So if you have been feeling more grounded lately, even after everything you have been through, that is not numbness. That is strength settling in. You are not becoming harder, you are becoming steadier. And that steadiness is exactly why the enemy was not ready for you. Signs you are walking in divine protection right now. Now I want you to slow down with me, because this part is where many of you finally exhale. This is where the mind settles and the spirit feels understood. You do not need to guess anymore whether God is protecting you. There are signs, quiet signs, consistent signs, and many of them are already present in your life. The first sign is this: what was meant to overwhelm you did not destroy you. It may have shaken you, it may have tired you, it may have forced you to confront things you avoided, but it did not finish you. You are still thinking clearly. You are still choosing wisely. You are still capable of hope. That alone is evidence of protection. Divine protection does not always look like problems disappearing. Sometimes it looks like problems losing their power over your mind. You went through things that once would have broken you, yet here you are, more aware, more cautious, more grounded. That is not coincidence. That is growth under covering. Another sign is delayed harm. You sensed something negative approaching, but it never fully arrived. You felt pressure build, but it stalled. You expected a confrontation, a loss, or a collapse, but instead there was a pause. That pause was not confusion. It was containment. God often delays what darkness rushes. Many of you noticed that situations changed suddenly without explanation. People backed away, plans dissolved, tension eased. You were spared conversations that would have drained you. You were removed from environments that would have weakened you. That was not luck. That was redirection. Divine protection also shows up as clarity after confusion. There was a time when your thoughts felt heavy, scattered and noisy. You overthought everything. You questioned yourself constantly. But slowly, something shifted. Your thoughts became quieter. Your decisions became firmer. You stopped needing validation for every step. That is protection stabilizing your mind. Another sign is emotional sensitivity paired with stronger boundaries. You still feel deeply, but you tolerate less nonsense. You care, but you no longer chase. You love, but you no longer overextend. That balance did not come from bitterness. It came from discernment. Let me say this clearly. Bitterness hardens the heart. Discernment strengthens it. And what you are developing now is discernment. You may have noticed that your body reacts faster when something is wrong. Tightness, restlessness, unease. That is not anxiety. That is awareness. Your spirit recognizes misalignment quickly now. That is a sign of protection operating internally. Another sign is interrupted cycles. Old patterns that used to repeat no longer hold the same power. You still get tempted, but you recover faster. You still struggle, but you correct yourself sooner. You still feel weak sometimes, but you do not spiral the way you used to. That is growth under divine supervision. Protection also shows up as exhaustion, followed by renewal. Some of you have been unusually tired, not physically, but mentally and spiritually. That fatigue was not failure. It was the result of carrying weight that is now being lifted. When pressure releases, the body and mind need rest. That is why sleep became deeper. That is why silence feels comforting instead of lonely. That is why you crave peace more than stimulation. Your system is recalibrating. Let me address something important here. Many chosen ones confuse peace with stagnation. But peace is not inactivity. Peace is alignment. When you are aligned, you move with less resistance. You do not need to force doors. You do not need to chase outcomes. Things begin to flow more naturally. Another sign of protection is selective exposure. You are no longer invited into everything. Some opportunities pass you by. Some connections fade. At first, this feels like loss, but later you realize it was shielding. God removes access before damage can occur. You may also notice that when you are about to make a wrong decision, something interrupts you. A delay, a distraction, a change of plans, a sudden clarity. That interruption is not inconvenience. It is intervention. Divine protection does not always come with explanations. It often comes with outcomes. Another sign is your relationship with fear changing. Fear may still knock, but it no longer lives with you. It visits briefly, then leaves. You acknowledge it without obeying it. That is a major shift. Fear loses power when it is not believed. You also feel more comfortable saying no, not out of anger but out of self-respect. You no longer feel the need to explain yourself to everyone. You no longer overcommit to prove your worth. That confidence is not pride, it is security. Security is a sign of protection. Let me talk about one more sign that many of you overlook. You are becoming less reactive to spiritual noise. You are no longer pulled into every debate, every argument, every distraction. You choose where to invest your energy. You guard your focus. That restraint preserves strength. Darkness feeds on scattered attention. Focus weakens it. Some of you also noticed an increase in inner prompting, subtle nudges, quiet warnings, gentle confirmations. This is discernment sharpening. When protection is active, guidance becomes clearer. Let me reassure you of something. Protection does not mean you will never face challenges again. It means challenges will no longer define you. They will pass through without lodging in your spirit. You are learning to observe storms instead of becoming them. That is why your recovery time is shorter. That is why your faith rebounds quicker. That is why your peace returns sooner. You are not regressing. You are stabilizing. Now let me say this slowly and firmly. If you are experiencing more peace than panic, more clarity than confusion, more restraint than reaction, you are under divine protection. Trust that. You do not need to constantly check if something bad is coming. You do not need to stay hypervigilant. That season is ending. Awareness remains, but fear exits. Your role now is simple. Stay aligned. Stay humble. Stay disciplined. Let protection do what it is designed to do. And as we move into the next part, I will guide you on what you must do next in this season, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. There is one final sign I want you to recognize, because it confirms everything we have discussed so far. You are no longer desperate for answers the way you used to be. You still seek understanding, but you are not frantic. You are not panicking. You are not forcing clarity. That shift is subtle, but it is powerful. Desperation comes from insecurity. Peaceful curiosity comes from trust. And trust is built only when protection has proven itself repeatedly. Your spirit has seen enough evidence now. Enough near misses. Enough quiet rescues. Enough moments where things should have gone wrong, but didn't. That is why you are calmer. You may also notice that your prayers have changed. You are no longer begging. You are conversing. You are no longer pleading for survival. You are asking for alignment. That evolution does not happen by accident. It happens when fear loses authority over your inner world. Another confirmation is this. You are more comfortable being alone than being surrounded by the wrong energy. Silence no longer scares you. Solitude no longer feels empty. It feels safe. That tells me your spirit feels guarded. When protection is active, the soul relaxes. So, if you feel less rushed, less reactive, and more selective with your energy, do not question it. That is not withdrawal. That is wisdom settling in. You are not shrinking. You are stabilizing. And stability is what allows what God placed in you to finally rise without resistance. What you must do next as a chosen one. Now, listen to me carefully, because this part requires maturity, not emotion. This is not about doing more. This is not about rushing. This is about moving correctly. Many chosen ones lose momentum not because they are attacked, but because they move out of alignment after protection has already been activated. The first thing you must do now is remain still internally. I am not saying stop your life. I am saying stop unnecessary inner movement. Stop replaying scenarios that are already resolved. Stop imagining threats that no longer have access. Stillness is not passivity. Stillness is confidence. When God secures a season, He expects restraint, not panic. You do not need to announce what you know. You do not need to explain yourself to people who already decided not to understand you. Silence at this stage is not weakness. It is strategy. The less you react, the clearer things become around you. The second thing you must do is guard your obedience. Not dramatic obedience, simple obedience, daily obedience. The kind that shows up in small decisions. What you tolerate, what you entertain, what you ignore, what you walk away from. At this level, disobedience does not look obvious. It looks subtle, overextending yourself, ignoring rest. staying in conversations you already outgrew, revisiting places God already removed you from. These things may seem harmless, but they create unnecessary friction. You are no longer in a season where you can afford spiritual noise. The third thing you must do is protect your peace aggressively. Peace is not a luxury for you, it is a requirement. Anything that consistently disturbs your peace without producing growth is misaligned. That includes people, habits, environments, and even certain thought patterns. Chosen one, you are not responsible for managing everyone's emotions. You are responsible for stewarding your spirit. This is also the season where you must resist the urge to explain your growth. Some people will notice you changing, becoming quieter, more selective, less available. They may misinterpret it. Let them. Clarity does not require consensus. The fourth thing you must do is stay disciplined in the unseen. This is critical. Your strength has always been built in private. Your prayers, your reflections, your corrections, your inner conversations with God. Do not abandon those now just because pressure has eased. Many people relax spiritually once danger passes. Chosen ones remain anchored. You do not need to increase intensity. You need consistency. Consistency keeps doors closed that were already sealed. Consistency stabilizes what has been protected. Another important instruction is this: do not seek validation for what God already confirmed. Validation reopens old insecurities. It places your peace in someone else's hands. You are beyond that stage now. Trust what you discern. Trust what has been proven. Trust what survived. You must also learn to let timing work without interference. Some of you are tempted to rush forward because you finally feel safe, but safety does not mean acceleration. It means preparation can now finish properly. God often slows chosen ones down right after protection activates, not to delay them, but to align them fully before movement. Be patient with the pace. Another thing you must do is release the need to know who was involved. Curiosity here is dangerous. It shifts focus backward. Whoever acted against you has already been handled. Your attention belongs ahead, not behind. Closure does not always come through information. Sometimes it comes through peace. And finally, this is very important. Stay humble, not self-diminishing. Humble. Gratitude keeps you grounded. Pride creates unnecessary exposure. You do not need to prove strength. You do not need to showcase authority. True authority never announces itself. Walk gently. Speak thoughtfully. Choose wisely. Chosen one, the season ahead requires clarity, not effort. Awareness, not anxiety. Discipline, not drama. You have already been protected. Now you must remain aligned. Do not complicate what God has simplified. Do not reopen what God has closed. Do not rush what God is stabilizing. If you do these things, what is meant for you will arrive without resistance. And when it does, you will be ready to carry it without losing yourself. Now let us seal this message properly, so your spirit can rest fully. Conclusion. Sealing the message. Chosen one, take a deep breath right now. Let your shoulders relax. Let your mind slow down. Nothing is chasing you. Nothing is lurking in the shadows. Nothing has permission to interfere with what God has sealed over your life. What was meant to harm you did not succeed. What was intended to shake you did not move you. What was sent to intimidate you only revealed how protected you truly are. The attempt failed, not because you fought back, but because you were already covered. You are not walking blindly. You are not exposed. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be, at the exact moment you need to be there. God did not just rescue you. He positioned you. He stabilized you. He quieted the storm around you so the storm inside you could finally settle. Remember this always. Darkness does not retreat from noise. It retreats from authority. And authority does not come from force. It comes from alignment, from humility, from obedience sustained over time. That is what you carry. You do not need to fear the future. You do not need to revisit the past. You do not need to explain yourself to anyone. Your life speaks for itself. Your peace is evidence. Your survival is testimony. Walk forward calmly. Stay grounded. Stay obedient. Stay humble. What God has prepared for you will meet you without struggle, without delay, and without resistance. Before you go, chosen ones, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on the bell icon, and share this message with other chosen ones who need peace and clarity right now. And comment 777 in the comments to seal this message and declare that you are fully aligned with the divine protection and assignment God has placed over your life. You are safe, you are guided, you are chosen.